Welcome to Angel's Kitchen and Cocktails. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am making a very delicious dish called Cacio E Pepe. Cacio E Pepe, which translates into cheese and pepper. Simple as that. It's a dish that originated in Rome many years ago, and it's absolutely delicious. You're only going to be using 3 ingredients. But before we get started, let's cheers. Delicious. Obviously, I am pairing this dish today with a delicious Cabernet that's going to bring out all the yummy nutty flavors and the cheese and the pepper. It's just going to be fabulous. Okay, so let's break down the ingredients and talk about that for a moment. 3 ingredients: pasta, cheese, and pepper. That is it. That's all you need for this dish. Now, I'm sure there's many other ways that this meal has been prepared, but I am going to stick to the simple, most authentic way that I know of to prepare Cacio E Pepe. I love saying that. Cacio E Pepe. Anyways, you want a really good pasta. Okay, let's just be frank. There's 3 ingredients, okay? So don't skimp on the quality of ingredients you need. Now, there's lots of box spaghettis that you can get, at the grocery store, like Barilla, for instance, which I use a lot. But for this dish, you want a good, authentic, thick noodle, durable noodle, one that's gonna cook very well when you cook it al dente, because that's what we're gonna be doing. So I am using Rayo's pasta, authentic pasta, and imported from Italy, just like the cheese I'm going to use. I'm using Pecorino Romano, okay, a very delicious, authentic Italian cheese, imported from Italy, and it, you can tell it almost like comes right off the wheel, delivered to your house or grocery store or your Italian market, okay? It's hard. It's going to, you're going to need a box grater. It's going to grate very well. The consistency we want is like a powdery, almost like snow texture. So you're going to use a very fine, the fine part on your box grater. It's very important that you use really good cheese because you want it to melt really good, not get clumpy, not get stringy. A lot of the other store-bought cheeses, processed cheeses, maybe I need a drink. Let's take a moment. Slow down. Okay. A lot of the other cheeses that you could use are processed, and they have they're very starchy, and they just don't melt down like you want them to, because you're going to want a very creamy texture. You're not going to have to worry about clumps and stringiness in your pasta, because pasta, pepper, cheese, and pasta water is all you're working with. And you're going to be doing a lot of stirring and a lot of tossing. So you want to use a really good cheese. And while I'm on that note, this cheese is absolutely delicious, but it's salty. So normally with a dish like this, using pasta, you might think you need to season your water with salt. You absolutely don't, because you're going to get all the flavor in this cheese. Lastly, your pepper. Okay, I am using peppercorn that I put in my pepper grinder, because I want everywhere from a fine to coarse texture in my pepper. Because again, this recipe is only using 3 ingredients, and it really doesn't have a lot of texture. So your texture is really going to come from your pepper. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of this, but just keep in mind, if that is too much for you, you can always scale back. So, pasta, cheese, pepper, pasta water. But next, we have to grate our cheese. Okay, so like I said, we want to use the fine side of the shredder. We don't want that to happen. But we are going to shred, actually we're going to grate about 1.5 cups. Now I'm only making 1 serving for myself, so I'm using about 4 ounces of pasta, and I'm going to use 1.5 cups, might be a little bit more than 1.5 cups of cheese, and then about a teaspoon of the black pepper, like I said. And once I grate this a little more, I'll show you exactly what I was talking about the texture of the cheese that you want to go for. It's so fine, so fine, and it's almost like snow, very powdery. That's what you want, because you want this to melt really, really good. You don't want any clumps. It smells so good. I just absolutely love this cheese. So again, you're going to be grating about 1.5 cups just for 1 serving. 3 ingredients, but you get a workout. 1.5 cups of cheese grated. Now the good thing about this dish is while you're preparing it, you're able to eat cheese and sip wine. Eat cheese and sip wine. A beautiful, beautiful pair. Okay, our water is to a hard boil. As I said, there is no olive oil, there is no salt in this water, because that cheese is going to give enough flavor and nature. That cheese is very salty in itself, so you will not need any salt in your water. Now I want this al dente, so I'm going to set my timer for 11 minutes and just let that cook. Okay, now it is time to grind our pepper and roast it. So my pan is heating on medium, and I have whole peppercorns in here, and I'm going to switch up my coarseness. I want a little bit of fine, I want a little bit of coarseness, because I really want the different coarseness texture in the pepper, okay? So let's take a look at what I'm gonna do. So you can see I am grinding this. It's kind of medium coarse. Then I can change it to a finer. And then I can change it again to a really coarse. So I really want some difference in texture with my pepper. You can see. Okay, so there's all different textures of pepper in there. And remember, if that's too much for you, scale it back. But I tend to like things a little hotter, so I'm using a lot of pepper. Okay, my pasta is boiling nicely. My pan for my pepper is heated. I'm just going, this is a teaspoon. It's gonna be a teaspoon and a half. And you only want to roast this for a few seconds, just until you can smell the aroma of the pepper cooking. A couple of seconds. You don't want it to burn. You're gonna turn off your burner. As soon as you start to smell the aroma of the pepper, then you're gonna transfer it right back in there. Put it back on there because you want to keep it hot, but your burner's off. But your pepper is roasted. You just want to wake it up. You just want to wake it up and smell that beautiful aroma of the pepper. Okay, our pasta is done al dente. We are going to put the pepper back in our metal pan that is still hot. We're going to add a ladle to a ladle and a half of pasta water. There we go. Then we are simply going to add in the pasta. We're not draining. Again, I like to make sure that all the pepper is mixed up really good before I add my cheese. Now my burner is off on the pasta water, just in case I need some more. And then I'm going to add in the cheese as I stir. Stir, stir, stir. Get it all in there. Stir, 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 stir. You want that nice, creamy consistency. Oh, get all around the rims. Just you stir, 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 so all that cheese is melted nicely in the pan with the pepper. Again, you don't want any clumps. You don't want any stringiness. You're just stirring, stirring, stirring. Then we'll plate. Okay, a small detail I forgot to mention is that you're going to want to heat up your plate because you're going to want to plate this on a hot plate. You can microwave it. You can have a oven safe plate to put in there, but you want to have a hot plate to serve this on so we don't mess up the temperature of the pasta and keep the cheese nice and hot and melted. I'm going to plate this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh yes, nice and creamy. See that pepper? No clumps, no stringiness, just cream. And I do, of course, like to garnish with a little bit of fresh parsley. And then you have your Cacio E Pepe! Hey, hey, hey! So we are ready to taste. We have our Cabernet, we have our Cacio E Pepe! Cacio E Pepe! It's so fun to say. First we sip. Let's open up the palate. Let's taste. Just look at that. So good. Elbowing it off. There we go. If your food doesn't make you dance in the kitchen, sorry. As mine does. Absolutely delicious. So creamy, so rich. This cheese, it's crazy. I love salt. I mean, it's salty. It's not unbearably salty, but it's salty. And it's potent. It's strong. It's so sharp. It's just so simple. 3 ingredients, guys. Just 3. But like I said, don't skimp out on the quality of those 3 ingredients because that's going to make all the difference. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have fun. I hope your dish turns out delicious if you decide to make this. And again, if you like the video, please remember to like it and subscribe and have a wonderful day. You can also catch me on my website at www.angelmiele.com, and my cookbook, Home is Where You're Cooking, is available on Amazon in all versions. So cheers. Happy cooking, guys.